there is an economic shift of semiconductor industry from a mature economy to emerging markets. China, India could be one of those. That's because of the growing talent pool and low-cost R&D. One more not so noticed a fact is that many of the IDMs are also moving to a fabless model, and AMD is being one of the examples of it. World semi sales are high and accelerating, exceptional strength in Asia Pacific. If you look at it, where shall I go? 2012, 61% of the market is in Asia Pacific, about $210 billion. You can also make the same point. And when I say Asia Pacific, I'm actually excluding Japan. So it really includes China, Taiwan, Korea, and unfortunately, even though we import a lot, our share of actual electronic component import is much lower on a worldwide scale, maybe 3-4%. So what do actually, I get asked this question because I said that I moved to India after having done my stint in VC in US for personal reasons. I moved to India in Delhi a year and a half ago. And people ask me this question saying, what would it take to fund a semiconductor company in India? And one of the things that I always look for was a founder to be knowledgeable about the domain, and not just the technology. It needs to have an ability to build teams. It needs to know the customer needs. It also needs a cast of very good experienced employees. A single entrepreneur coming out of a management position, it doesn't quite cut it. What you need is a good system architects, IC design engineers, software engineers. These are good sized talents you need. You need ops guys and you need salespeople. You also need a proximity to market. The last thing is actually not, we have access and support from design tools is getting more important as we go along for reasons I can't go into details in a short presentation. But the other thing is you need an experienced, smart risk taking capital, which have connections to OEM and foundries, and that is also because the cost of wafer actually in the early stage of a company's life dominates your product costs, along with that of a design cost. What you don't need, and that's why I'm making a case, and this is where I will end, is what you don't need is a local foundry. What you don't need is a local ODM shop. You don't need a cheap power. All you are doing is the design. That's running a computer. You don't need a large tract of land. But of course, you need a land which is urban land because most of the designers are going to be wanting to live in urban areas. You need a superior bandwidth because of the connectivity issues. Back and forth, you want to send the designs to the foundries and all. And, I don't think that you need a major revamp of a government regulations in order to foster a semiconductor fabless companies. There may be some differences required or needed on a tax machine. It's always useful to have people not give you a tax benefits. They also need to recognize that design is a more important part, and that's where the value is captured. So there has to be some rationalization on how you get tax. But beyond that, it's not entirely sure that you need a lot to succeed in, a lot of help from government to succeed in this area. Different tenor than rest of the people in ISA are going to say, but that's my pitch. What would get funded from me? And I put up the international team right up front because this is an export activity. In a way, you are going to build a component that you're going to sell to Huawei or ZTE or many of those other companies which are elsewhere. You do need a marketing and sales people who have been experienced in a domain to actually be part of your team, not maybe at the startup, but at some point in time. You also need an ops person that we don't have in India right now, who actually know how to take a finished prototype, sampled, and accepted by a customer. And now your problem is to reduce the yield problems or to make sure that supply chain is working well. Those kind of guys also don't exist here because we haven't really produced an entire chip-to-chip solutions. But they also form an important cost barrier that one needs to address. And you know, in some ways, I was just having a talk with somebody who knows this system well, the Marvell guy who spoke before me. The fab wafer cost can be quite high, and you need op guys who knows how to optimize it. That could be a difference between 10 to 15 basis points on your profit margin, and that's a big difference. So last slide. I am not intentionally looking at Pradeep because I think he is itching to get me out of here. What is India's strength? I think we have a great strength. We have an Indian diaspora which can actually be helpful in building an international team. We have a smart, eager engineering force, and we have an entrepreneurial culture. What we need is a smart VCs. There are not enough of them around, and we do need them. This slide, I think we can come back to. This talks about a whole lot of government policies which are being suggested. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Hemant Bhai.